So yeah, that was it. Can I have Ty, Tim, Yoki, Kat? Do you want to come down, please? But yeah, that was shot in 2019. Believe it or not. 2019, that's when we shot the film.
It's taken 5 years.
It's taken 5.5 years. Bloody long time it took, a bloody long time, that's all I can say. Yeah, does anybody have any questions? I mean, like, look, some of the cast, the crew are here as well, not everybody. If you're the crew, there's too many of you to point you all out. Put your hand up if you're part of the crew. Yeah. Give them a round of applause. And then we've got exec and essays. We've got, we got lots of supporters here as well. Thank you so much. But does anybody have any questions on that film? Go on, Joe.
So I come from a different world. I do documentaries. It's nice and easy. It usually takes me about 36, 48 hours to make a documentary. 5 years, that's hard work. What's the hardest part about making your piece?
I'm almost 30 now.
The hardest part was having to do pickups and then realising that your lead has cut his hair and it's nothing like what he did during the shoot. So that shot that down in flames. That's probably.
I was going to say, I make documentaries as well. How can you? Are you sure they don't take 5 years? Mine do.
Really? Well, I do shorts, you see. It's nice and easy. They're not very good. I wouldn't say they're good documentaries.
All right. Okay. Kat, were you tempted to change the cards to say five years later?
I couldn't, my brain wasn't functioning. That would have been great. Just before we go into it a little further, I just want to say one thing. At the very end, you saw In Memory of Noel Lynch. So Noel owned the shop that was the book shop that we'd shot that in, and I didn't realise that he had passed away during lockdown, and I only found out probably January or February when I was finishing the film off, and I thought, well, I've got to reach out and see what Noel's doing. And then I found out he had passed, so, rightly so, the film is dedicated in memory of Noel. But yeah, that shot, I've known Noel for a very long time, and I was wondering, when I was figuring out the film, I thought, that was a really cool location, and it just worked. I think for every department and everybody who was involved, it was crazy, but at the same time, it was, I think, visually quite an exciting space to be in. Any questions? Any other questions?
What was the spark that started you on this particular journey? Did it come all at once, or was it over a period of time?
Good question. Essentially, I was going to write a piece of showroom material, and I was going to make a short film so that I could put my mug on the screen and say, hey, look, I can act, and I can do this. And as I was writing it, this story started to flow as a piece of fiction that I really wanted to tell as best as I could. And so at that point, it was, I need to find people who can be the cast, and I had to, like Tim, help me with the script during early revisions. I'd say, Tim, what do you think to this film? And he gave me some lovely feedback, and that's how this came about, really, from that. And once the bug got me, it was like, I've got to make this film, and there was no turning back. I mean, I don't know what it was like for the actors, if you want to, what your experience was like.
Oh, like this film? I mean, this project has a very, it's close to my heart. It was my very first acting gig ever. No acting experience, very little acting classes. I don't know why Kat trusted me, but I really needed the IMDb credit. But no, I read the script, and I instantly got on with Kat, and I was just so excited to get this journey started. And here we are, 5 years later. Hairline's gone back, but here we are. But yeah, it's been a crazy journey, and I thank everyone here for turning up, and my friends as well. Like, it means a lot you guys are here as well. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Team Ty! I will say one thing before, then we'll come to you guys. Ty was the last person, I think, last actor to be attached to the film, and I had a load of people audition, and a lot of actors just don't read the brief, like, this is the kind of character I'm looking for, and that these people who are like applying going, why are you applying? Because you haven't followed any of this brief at all. But anyway, I saw Ty randomly when I was looking through the casting platform I was using, and he must have seen the page, liked it in his profile, and it said in another tab, people that you might be interested in. And I saw his profile and I looked at him, like how he looked visually, and just, I think he really embodies what I was looking for in the character. And I kept sending these, please apply to this project, because I have no other details apart from a button to say, please respond. And over weeks and weeks, I'm pressing this button thinking, I still don't have a lead actor for the film.
I think I was on holiday at that point.
What about the other guys?
Yeah, no, they're basically all the same. No, I just we met briefly, hadn't we, before, and so. But yeah, did the self-tape, you liked it, so that was that really, wasn't it? No, it was a wonderful experience. It was before my training as well, so yes, I was very nervous today coming back to watch it. But yeah, no, it's all good, no, really. And it does. I've said it a couple of times to a few people. It feels like coming back today that. A bit dreamlike, the time passing and pun intended. And funnily enough, actually, and this is just another weird little funny thing, but my boyfriend gave me literally yesterday. He gave me a little. He said, "Oh, do you want to wear this little charm?" And I was like, "Oh, that's weird. I'm going to see the Writ." I was like, "Oh, I've got a little lucky charm on." And I was like, "Oh, there's spooky stuff going on." But no, honestly, it was a really lovely experience, the whole thing. And yes, it was the first thing for me too, and it was a joy, and I loved the whole process, and yeah, it looks great, and you're a great guy, so it's just all so good,
Dave,
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, Kat. I didn't really know what to expect, and I thought it looked really good. I thought it was really well shot. I won't say I was surprised, because I know how much work you put into it, but it looked really good, and I just wondered, I liked some of the transitions that you did and some of the angles and the way that you edited it all together. How did you figure out how to do that? I mean, did somebody tell you how to do it? Did you go on the internet and look on YouTube? Did you speak to somebody who gave you some advice? How did you actually learn how to do some of that visual work that we saw up there?
Well, I can't take the credit for the cinematography. Ed, unfortunately, the cinematographer's not here. He was coming, but I'll find out. He probably got delayed. But a lot of the visual look, Ed he put so much effort and energy into it. So, hats off to the camera team. They did a phenomenal job. Yeah, pretty much all the camera team are not here because someone's moved out. Someone is moving out literally today. So yeah, there was a lot of discussion. We did a bit of a shot list in advance of the kind of angles and things we wanted to shoot. But as far as the editing and the transitions go, pretty much trying to figure out, because I know the story, I know what this film is about, I know what the arcs are, I know what these transitions of ties the Dax Ojar's character, I know what he's going through. We only shot 70%, 75% of the film. Like, the script is much more, is deeper, there's a lot more connections, there's more Chrissy in the final, the actual full script, which I would have loved to have shot. I think really this film needs to be like a good half an hour to really do it justice, because it's quite complex with all of these three characters, that they all have very much unique arcs that we're just touching on the surface with what we see. But as far as the visual stuff, I made 2 short films in between shooting this. And each one of those films I learned how to do VFX in the first one, using green screen and compositing. And in the second one, and also editing, but then the second one, which is cloaks, and some of the team cloaks are here. So I did a lot of grading work, color work, and editing in that, and so that gave me the confidence, which I then threw all of that into this, which was a very long-term thing. Like, it needed more, like, it was 4K, everything was shot Blackmagic 4K. So there was a lot more power I needed. There was a lot more footage, and this is the film that I put so much time and energy into. The other ones were like very short-term projects, if you will. So I wanted to try and put as much of my learning into it. But yeah, YouTube, like so much on DaVinci Resolve, editing, and forgetting how to do this specific thing that I did on a project 7 months ago. So yeah, there's a lot of research, but pretty much it's... One thing I will attribute, Wim Wenders, what was the film he just... Perfect Days? That came out? No, the janitor in Tokyo. Perfect Days, yeah, new one. Amazing film. And I saw that at the beginning of the year, and he has these dream sequences that go into this grainy black and white. And I needed more of a differential between Dax's waking world and the dream world. And as soon as he went into that black and white, it was like, it gave me the confidence, went, yeah, bung up the grain, bring down the saturation, make it enough so it's not black and white, not copying, but it was enough to go, it's safe to do this, because people are not going to go, oh, that's crazy as a visual device to explain this. So that was a recent thing. That was probably the last big thing I did. But I will say the VFX work, like, you will not know how much time went into putting ink on a nib of a pen that you will see for a fraction of a second that you might not see, which probably none of you realised, but it took me weeks of work, and then ended up losing it because I was working in like 1080p and then going to 2K. So then I had to redo everything again. But yeah, long-winded answer, sorry.
Well done anyway, it looked really good.
Thank
nice
you.
job.
It's great, I finally understood the film now.
You can explain to all of us.
Well, it was interesting, I could understand the mystical aspect. What were some of the themes you were excited to explore while making this film?
Ultimately, the core of it is loss and sacrifice, so the two main elements, the themes that kind of underpin this. It's like Dax's journey to success and what he loses and what Chrissy loses. Because ultimately, it's a friendship, and I think the loss of friendship is it's a really hard pill to swallow sometimes you don't know when it's maybe not your fault, maybe it is your fault, I don't know, but when you lose a friend, it's such a painful thing. And I really wanted that to be the core of what this was about, even though it's told in this weird Twilight Zone-esque kind of storyline, but that was the core of it.
Did you have rehearsal time?
We did one rehearsal. It was about 7 months before the shoot, wasn't it? No, I got Kat and Ty at my house, and we ran the coffee shop sequence, the first meet. Yeah, do you guys want to talk about it?
Yeah, sort of vaguely remember that. Yeah, you probably. Do you remember?
No, I don't remember it. It was just a short evening at Kat's. I mean, it was just the only scene that we had rehearsed. But I kind of like always going on set with little rehearsal, because I think the performances are more, I don't want to say improv, but just more fresh and more alive. So I feel like it worked for us. We didn't have to do many rehearsals because everything felt real and in the moment, which I think looks better in the end. So yeah.
Yeah, I think, exactly as Ty's saying, that, going to the locations and everything, it just feels, we all felt like these people, it all felt, just going through the motions, yeah. So didn't really feel like it was needed.
Which is that good.
Hopefully, the young girls are just amazing.
Brad, you want to...
Hi, yeah. You answered half of this in that previous question, but being at the helm of a short film teaches you more about filmmaking than virtually anything. What are the main things that you took away from this?
I think ultimately it's preparation in going into a short film. It's like you need to be more prepared than you think you need to be. because in every film I've done, this is my least prepared film, and then every one I've done since then I've been more prepared, and it's still not enough time. And I think about it every day. It's like, okay, next one, I need to be even more prepared for all of the not necessarily all eventualities, but you lose, when you're live on set, it's a ticking clock. Like you can't rewind time, you can't get it back. And when you're paying for locations and you have to shoot, and you have to move from one place to another, and you've only got 3 days and you've got this crew for so long, it's like you've got to get everything done. And if you're not efficient, then you're going to lose, you're going to sacrifice your project, your story. And that's ultimately the key takeaway.
And which bit of it did you enjoy the most?
I mean, I like it all, really. It's like I really enjoy the post-production, and
I quite like coffee. That's quite nice.
yeah, coffee was good. Oat flat whites.
Yeah, they were quite nice.
Anybody else?
Coffee fruit in Finsbury Park, if you want to go
Yeah.
there.
Any
Fruit,
form of
yeah.
coffee fruit.
Oat milk, flat white.
Yeah, that's where we shot. Right at the back.
Oh yeah, I got a question for the lead. How are you so handsome?
Thanks to my mother and father. And a lot of plastic surgery. This is all.
I'm going to ask Tim a question.
Okay.
Yeah. So Tim, can you just talk a little bit about Aquilla, the character, and what you felt about having to embody this very strange, otherworldly.
Before I answer that question, I just wanted to say that I've known Ket for a very long time now. I don't even think how many years it is.
Don't get that.
But in all the time that I've known Ket, he has always talked to me about various projects that he wants to do. And I've always tried to be encouraging. And he never got around to doing them. And now you saw it up there on the big screen. You finished it. Well done, mate. Well done. Aquilla, I mean, you talked about one of your inspirations being a cross between Twilight Zone and Charlie Brooker's what's it called? Cracked Mirror? I know there's a mirror, there's definitely a mirror in it. So yeah, so we talked about that from day one, so that kind of gave me a steer in terms of where I thought you wanted it to be pitched. And again, Noel's shop was a massive help, just sitting in that space. And the costume you gave me helped. So, lots of things you're drawing from as an actor. And I mean, if I'm being perfectly honest, I think the main thing that I kept falling. We talked about basing. Most of you won't know who this is, I'm sure, but we talked about basing his voice on the comic book guru Alan Moore. No, he's not from Nottinghamshire, he's from Northamptonshire. So we wanted to give him a quite earthy voice, quite rooted, a man of the earth, the soil, so that kind of helped. It's a bit David Bellamy as well. Be careful you don't go, again, that's going to go over most people's heads. David Bellamy was a very famous TV presenter in the 70s and 80s. A bit like Jeff Capes, who I won't keep going on and people you won't remember. So yeah, I mean the voice was a big part of it. And I remember we sat, and before we shot anything, we sat in the Park Theatre in Finsbury Park, and we recorded some audio, which was the first thing I did for it. Yeah. Is any of that actually in the finished cut? No.
It was too noisy. With too much noise, but everybody, all the actors apart from Tim came in and did some ADR, which I don't know what you felt of that experience, but Tim's voice was really important, and that accent was really important. And whenever I hear metamorphosis, I kind of I love that phrasing on that word. It's brilliant in the film. We're going to have to vacate imminently because they've got another screening. Does anybody have a quick question?
Screening of the Writ.
I don't think they're going to let us. Yeah, just so, yeah, quick question at the back. Kieran.
So
Yeah.
what's the feature coming?
Do you know what? I am actually thinking of, because I think there's so much in this. Do you guys think a feature of this story?
Longer one.
Longer one, yeah.
How many years is that?
we can go by the principle. It'll take half as long, so at least 2.5 years.
We're taking bets now on how many years.
But no, thank you once again.
How many of us will still be alive?
As long as everybody keeps their hair the same, that's all that matters.